until just a few seconds ago, and huge apologies for absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, and huge apologies for the breaks in signal, well, the complete lack of broadcast this morning. It was an external problem somewhere in London, and to be honest, you haven't missed out on much. We did see Nkuhuma very briefly this morning at his kill. This, some of you may have noticed, is not Nkuhuma, and we are no longer in the same area as Nkuhuma. This is Nkuhuma's brother, in all likelihood. Another beautiful young male, and we found him sleeping in this jackalberry tree. He's now looking up into a tree where there were some squirrels that were alarm calling that helped us to find him. And here they've just started calling again. That's the squirrels you can hear now. And such a useful call for us to know and to listen to, because they do so very often lead us to leopard. Now, Nkuhuma was lying up in thick bush, just to let you know, so we decided to rather come and follow up on the reports of this leopard who had been seen coming in towards this area earlier this morning, and thankfully the squirrels helped us to find him. Go ahead, Brent. That's affirmative. We're just a little bit further north of the dam now. It looks like quarantine. Why don't you come and join? We're the only people here. So the good news is Brent is nearby, and he's going to come and join in on this beautiful sighting. It's always very interesting to think of what exactly they are smelling when you can see them sniffing about, because their senses are far greater than ours, and you just can't help but imagine what exactly those scents are. Possibly another leopard, possibly a potential prey item. It's hard to say. It's always very interesting to think of what exactly they are smelling when you can see them sniffing about, because their senses are far greater than ours, and you just can't help but imagine. To go, we may have some trouble staying with this leopard. That is exactly what we have right here. So, spoiled for choice this morning. This individual's brother was not up to much, even though it does have a baboon kill. He was lying up in some very thick vegetation close to the kill. So not too much was going on, and couldn't resist the opportunity to come and look for another leopard that was going to be potentially on the move. And he was asleep for about 15 minutes in that tree. Excuse me. Before I decided to get mobile. He doesn't look very full-bellied, so his hunger may be driving him on. Just to let you know, Brent is nearby, so we'll be able to switch between the two vehicles. I'm just going to try and loop ahead of him. And thankfully, I have followed him through this exact area before, so I've got an idea of the terrain. It is open enough for us to loop ahead, which will allow us some great views of him as he approaches us. Negative, Brent. Okay, copy, sounds good. Well, he's just a few meters in front of our vehicle, and this beautiful golden morning sunlight is certainly making for some incredible footage. Sorry, go again. Well, interestingly enough, I have been a little bit ahead of myself in assuming that it is quarantine male, because apparently there are some viewers that know the leopards better than me, and they've said that it's another young male called Bhuti, I think was the name that Nikki relayed to me. And I was looking at his coats, and it appears that he's got a bit of a dewlap, so a bit of extra skin sagging below his neck and stomach. That was making me wonder if it was actually quarantine. It looked slightly different, so we'll try and get you some more visuals, and that way you'll be able to confirm for us who it may be. And for those of you who are new to this experience, there's quite a few of our viewers who follow these leopards intimately, and a lot of the leopards in this area will even have Facebook pages, so you can kind of get updates on them very regularly, as guides will update on the leopard's Facebook page where they've been and what they've been up to. And with all the pictures and footage that gets posted, it allows people to get a great idea of individual leopards, and people become incredibly talented at identifying them. So there's different things you'll look at when trying to identify a leopard, but the spot patterns are always different depending on the individual leopard. Even judging by his behavior, how he's been looking back at us, he doesn't seem quite as relaxed as quarantine. So apologies for falsely assuming that it was a leopard who we usually do see in this area. And it just goes to show that there is so much unknown, and there's only so much we can presume out here, because there's a lot that goes on without our knowing. And this is a perfect example. He could well have moved through this area many times without us ever finding him. Now, you may be wondering where Brent is. He was going to arrive, and he was just a few meters behind us. But he's decided to head off and try and find something else. So just keep that in mind. Brent is on the trail of something else that's quite interesting. And Nicky's just relayed to me that there's a lot of banter on Twitter, and there's people trying to discuss and decide who exactly this leopard is, and I look forward to hearing what the final conclusion is. The other great thing for me is that once we do get the final conclusion as to who exactly this leopard could be, Nicky would be able to, and I'm sure a lot of you will, actually provide us with information as to how old he may be and where he's come from. That is something unique about this area that we're in. There's some great leopard viewing here, and because they get followed so closely, a lot is known about them. Almost, sometimes people can know even almost to the day when they were born. We do follow animals off-road like this. We try and take the path of least resistance, and that means having to loop ahead and lose visual temporarily. So don't worry, he still is just to our right, but trying to go about this without interfering on his movements and without causing too much damage to the vegetation around us. But it looks like we've got lucky and found a little bit of a gap, which is going to allow us to loop ahead of him and then get him to walk, and hopefully that way he'll be able to walk straight past us again. He's changed directions quite dramatically, but we will try and just presume that he'll continue in the general direction he had been heading in, which was a westerly direction. He's just cut off a little bit to the north. Well, looking at a spot pattern now, I can safely say that it is not hold on. I've got to be careful here, otherwise I'm going to get caught out. No, that is certainly not quarantine. His face almost seems shorter and more almost, what's the right word? He's got a very stubby muzzle. That's not the right word, but he's got a short face and quite a compact face, it looks like, compared to quarantine. And the spot pattern that runs along his whiskers, along the whisker line, is also evidently different to quarantine's. Still a beautiful young male though, and I wonder how young he is. as far as VM can pivot, so we are now going to have to reposition again. But because he is quite close to us, I'm just going to wait a moment or two and give him some space, and then we will continue following him. He has just stopped and is moving very cautiously through this area. And this may be because it's an area that he hasn't spent much time in, or maybe he knows there's some potential prey around. It's hard to say. Bhuti, Nicky's done a little bit of research, and apparently he was born in August 2012, but apparently there's still a lot of banter on Twitter as to who exactly this is. Excuse me. Well, folks, it sounds like Brent's hit the jackpot, so while we nick ahead of this leopard, why don't we go across to him and see what he's found?
Welcome. Good morning. Brent here. I'll do all the instructions later, but we've got the Nkuhuma pride, unfortunately just north of our boundary, and we've been checking all our boundaries this morning for lion tracks. And unfortunately just north of the boundary. Hopefully they might turn around and come back towards us, but it doesn't look like it, unfortunately, from the way they're moving. And it looks like the whole pride's here. So we're just going to move around the bush so we can see them a little bit better. One at Vuyatela Dam with Mfene Bamba, and the other on Twin Dams.
Oh, you just let her pass it there?
At Vuyatela, yeah. The one at Twin Dams was Famba North. Unfortunately, it has been a very brief sighting of the Nkuhumas. To give you a quick update before we disappear, no one has actually been seeing the Nkuhumas for quite a while. They've been spending a lot of time in the Manyeleti Reserve to the north of us. But it's nice that they are back in the area. I think there's one more to go through the gap before they all disappear. No, I think that might actually be all of them. Oh, well, at least we got to have a brief view of them. They did look a little bit hungry, but they didn't look in too bad condition, because I know you guys get worried quite often because they seem not to be doing too well at the moment. on the hunting front. They said in a pride that size, it often looks like they're hungry because they might eat something small like an impala, so they don't have the lots of fat bellies. But they are back in the area, so hopefully we can keep our fingers crossed that they do cross south onto Vuyatela. But in it, I've got Romeo on camera with me this morning, and we've got a friend, Megan, visiting us from Johannesburg. So just to let you know who's with us, and then obviously you've been with Scott and Vim and Nick's in final control earlier. As much as I would love to sit here and sort of wish the lions back towards us, I don't think it's going to happen, so we'll start meandering on, but at least we did get to see them, even if it was just for a minute or two. We seem to always see them at a long distance at this dam, having a drink and then disappearing. It's getting quite frustrating. Okay, what should we go look for next? Copy that. Okay, so let's see what else we can find, and we hope that this evening they decide to head back towards us. There's a report of male lion tracks, but quite far to the north and east of us, but only of a single male. We did hear lions roar quite a bit last night from all over the place. Okay guys, well, it was a very brief lion view, but still always good to see lions. So we're going to carry on seeing what else we can find, and in the meantime we're going to cross back to Scott, see what he's got. Over to Scott.
Welcome back everyone, and so happy that finally some lion have come onto the property, and well done to Brent with all his hard efforts in trying to show you lion this morning have now paid off, and good prospects. Even though they may have disappeared, at least they are still close to our property and could come back on at any stage. But in the meantime, we've been following this beautiful male leopard who appears to be a new character on the show. I've certainly never seen him before, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if he does continue to move. He is in all likelihood going to pop out, oh here we go, at a waterhole, and the waterhole often attracts a lot of game, so hopefully we're going to see a little bit of action, and if we're really lucky we may even see him catch something. We've only documented one leopard kill in the 5 months that we've been broadcasting, so we're due for another one. Who knows, maybe this morning is the day that it will happen. observations, just an update. This young male leopard is now mobile west towards Treehouse Dam from Weaver's Nest. Copy, it's just myself here, so you're welcome to make your way. Look at this, there's some elephants in the mix. Just going to try to stop somewhere where you may even be able to get both the elephants and the leopard in the same shot. The leopard is heading towards them. Once he detects them, he'll probably slink away from them to avoid any unnecessary confrontation. But in just a few seconds, you're probably going to see the leopard coming into shot. And isn't this great? There we go. Beautiful, great work there, VM on camera. Morning, not copying you clearly, but go ahead. Hey Greg, good morning, welcome to the Leopard. I'm doing well. He's mobile towards Treehouse Dam. You're more than welcome to join as a third. Now this is going to be interesting. And again, VM's doing an incredibly good job on camera as we're driving. We moving, the leopard's moving. There's a lot of vegetation around, and he's still keeping you in the loop and showing you some great images as we go. It's tricky now, I'm trying to get into the best position in case any action unfolds with these elephants and him. So I think this may be a good spot to wait. He was heading towards this younger elephant, but may have stopped. I doubt he will go any further into the bush because that's where the majority of the herd appeared to be. And maybe he's just waiting for them to pass before he continues. Now, if the elephants smell him, they may get a little bit distressed and want to chase him away. So that is something to bear in mind. Even though he doesn't pose a threat to the elephants, they would prefer not to have him around. Well, one thing leopards are incredibly good at doing is disappearing. Thanks, Lex. Well, it appears that finally it's been resolved as to who this leopard is, and it is Bhuti, who was born in August 2012, apparently. He might just be lying up in the bush where we last saw him heading. So just poke our nose in there just to confirm. And it was just yesterday that we were enjoying a leopard sighting with elephants at Buffelshoek Dam. And there he goes. And now we're getting spoiled with the same action, not even 12 hours later. very thick here, so we're just going to enjoy one last visual of him as he moves past, and then we are probably going to have to do a very big loop around in order to relocate him. But I'm confident we will. The area he's moving through is thankfully not too thick, and we shouldn't lose him, but we do need to possibly do a big loop around to get the next view of him as he passes by. You may be able to hear some rustling and branches breaking. That's some more elephants feeding. So there are more elephants in the direction he's heading in. Thanks, and would you mind just trying to research where the mother comes from? I've got a feeling it might be one of Karula's other daughters, but double check that, please. So Nikki's just doing some research for us and letting us know as much as she can about this leopard, which is really wonderful. And interestingly enough, we already know that his sister was killed by a pride of lions, as well as his older brother. So their family hasn't had good luck when it comes to lions, and leopard will often be killed. Sorry, I just need to help guide a guide into the sighting. Take the northern road. And he is mobile in the Skova towards the dam. Can you see him, Jim?
No.
Huh?
Negative.
So thankfully there's another vehicle arriving here, and I've just told him to take a northern road that runs parallel to the riverbed. And that way we'll be having all our angles covered. I'm sure he'll be following the small riverbed. Oh, there he is. Will he go up this tree? No. That is a road in the Kruger, I think. Thanks. Isn't this incredible news we're just getting through on the radio? The mother of this leopard we're looking at is Karula, who is the queen of Juma. She's been termed. She is a female leopard that we see more often than any other on this property. And Thandi, the mother of this leopard, was Karula's first daughter, so one from her first litter. She gave birth to Thandi, and Thandi has now given birth to Bhuti, who we're enjoying a great sighting of this morning. this will probably be the last loop we need to do before we loop ahead to the dam. He is approaching it, which means we may get lucky and see him drinking. Or, even better than that, we may even see him trying to catch something. Because it is getting so dry at the moment, there's a lot of animals relying on the water holes. I did just get a visual of him. He's crossed north through this riverbed, so we are now on the wrong side of the river. And thankfully, though, there's another vehicle there, and that other vehicle will keep an eye on him and keep us updated on where the best place to go would be. Copy. Well done. I will stand by at the dam. What a morning it is, folks, and we do need to make the most of the predator sightings when they are available to us, especially when they're of this quality. Predators on the move is the ultimate, because they do spend so much time sleeping daily. Maybe 16 to 20 hours a day they can be fast asleep. So for us to catch them in those little windows of movement, we can consider ourselves very fortunate. Is there any food for him? How about our tire looking on that side? Yeah, we're all good. Ooh. You may have heard VM just shout impala with excitement, and there is an impala here at the dam, and maybe this leopard is going to get lucky, but if not get lucky, at least have an opportunity at trying to catch something.
Well, the answer anyway, like quarantine, you're going to have a good show of impala running away.
I can hear more squirrels alarming here. I wonder if there's not another leopard. Copy that. There's more squirrels alarm calling upstream of the dam here, west of the dam, so I wonder what else it might be here. And this may create the perfect decoy, because the impala is looking towards the tree squirrels that are alarming to the west. They may see another leopard or another predator, who knows, maybe it's a bird of prey, but they're certainly not happy about something, and neither are the Birchall starlings. And this is an area where leopard do like to hang out. Now, because the impala is looking in the opposite direction, it may allow this Bhuti the window of opportunity to try and catch it as it focuses on another threat nearby, or another potential threat nearby. Andrew, there's a marla here, just on the northern side of the dam, to let you know. Well, this is really exciting. When you're in a current predator sighting and you're looking for another potential predator, you know you're having a good morning. So, we are not going to lose focus though on the current leopard, because there is a chance he could try and catch this impala. The impala is already looking towards it, so the leopard may be out of luck. But I just want to try and get into a position where, if anything does unfold, we are in the optimum place to show you everything. And it can be difficult in this area, it's just so thick. Okay?
The collar bolted.
Oh, did it? Well, it looks like this leopard's luck has already run out, but we'll just wait here and see what the leopard does before we make our next move. What's he up to there, Andrew? Copy. Well, it sounds like he's just sitting down for the time being, so we'll head on over and get a closer look of him. Adam. The squirrels have appeared to have stopped alarming very intensely behind us. So maybe whatever was there has moved off.